Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So here we are with our session number 195 for Quranic Arabic grammar, in which we are doing and practicing Surf and Nahw of Surah Taha. And inshallah, we are going to start with a small recap of what we have learned in our last session. In our last session, we went over how if your zarf is mabni, your mudaf ilayhi in that case should be this particular thing. So it is a question that was posted on the YouTube channel as well. And I just want you to remember that if you have is, iza, kullama, haisu, lamma, what do you expect to see as your mudaf ilayhi? What will be your mudaf ilayhi in that case? Will it be a mufrad ism or will it be a jumla? Yeah, so most importantly, the answer in this case should be everyone should know by now that if you are seeing anywhere in Quran a zarf, which is mudaf as well, which acts as mudaf as well, and these, there are a few of them that I have on my slide, and I've been showing it to you since session number 80 something. So is, iza, kullama, haisu, lamma, you are not expecting to see a mufradism after them. What happens if you have yawma and hina? These are the words that can take a tanween. These are the words that can be, they can have fatha dhamma kasra, anything. They are not the words that are non-flexible. These are the words that can take both mufradism and jumla. So remember that. These are the ones, they all seven that are shown on your screen are going to make a fragment. They are going to change if is, iza, kullama, haisu, lamma is seen anywhere. There is going to be a fragment. But how these five are different from the last two, these are mabni. Yes or no? Remember, we went over that concept, how they are non-flexible. They're always going to be mabni ala sakun and this haisu mabni ala dam. But yoma can be yomu, can be yomi. Hina, the same way, can be hina, hinu, hini. Hinin can take the mean as well, these two words. So these are mu'arrab words. If your zarf is mu'arrab, its mudaf ilayhi can be a mufradism, which you have seen in Surah Taha in the form of Yom al-Qiyamah. But the same word can also take a sentence as its mudaf ilayhi, as you have seen in the same very surah when you were doing verse number 102, Yawma yunfakhu fis-sur, right? Yawma yunfakhu fis-sur. So here, what is the mudaf ilayhi of Yawma? You are seeing a jumla, right? But when it comes to is, iza, kullama, haisuma, haisu, and lamma, what do you see as mudaf ilayhi? Throughout Quran, if you have a person of understanding, and by if you are learning grammar to this stage, I would expect that you have gone through Quran many, many, many times. So you must have made this observation every time you are seeing anything after these words, there is a sentence which is coming up as a mudaf ilayhi, and that is why they are known to make a complex idafa. Is this clear to all of you? Right? So what is expected after is, iza, kullama, haisu, lamma? There is a mudaf ilayhi that's going to be a sentence. And yes, again, now this mudaf and mudaf ilayhi is going to be turned into a fragment. There is a fragment between these five and the jumla that is coming up as their mudaf ilayhi. Just as there's a mudaf ilayhi relationship between yawm al-qiyamah. Because remember, when you are going to look at this part of the verse, let me show you. Yawma yunfakhu fis-sur. Is this together acting as a sentence, complete sentence, or is it acting like a fragment? Everyone answered, because that tells me how much you have understood from, yes, it is now acting as a fragment. And if you remember, we went over this in our last session and we called it a badal for Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? And we also went over how badal and mubdal minhu is a word for which there is a badal, and here yawma yunfakhu fi sur is a badal for yawm al-Qiyamah. They are supposed to be having a same status. They match in status. The only quality or the only property of an ism that we look for in case of badal is a status, right? And badal can be a jumla too. And in that case, you call that jumla fi mahalli such and such, okay? Whatever the status of mubdil minhu is going to be will be the status of jumla. But now we add the word fi mahalli. Is this clear to all of you? And here, this badal was, and among the four types of badal that you have learned in your sessions, you have learned that the badal can be, badale kul, badale istimal, badale baad, and badale ghalat, and there is no badale ghalat in Quran, which we have gone over that in the last session as well, just to freshen up your memory. This one is which type of badal? Is it kul, baad, istimal, or ghalat? Which one does it look like? No, it cannot be baad. Is it some of the day? Are we talking about is it or we are talking about the full day? No, when you look at yoma, is it yoma? Is it not yom al kiyama and yoma yunfakhu fi sur the same thing? Is it not are we baad? When you talk about baad, let me tell you, when you talk about baad, it should be part of the day. Are we talking about Yoma Yunfakhu fi Sur, the day on which the trumpet will be blown into? Is it just a part of the day that should be hours then? The part of the day are hours. Are we talking about hours in Yoma Yunfakhu fi Sur, or we are talking about the whole day in which the trumpet will be blown into? The whole day is being talked about. If you're telling me that this is Ishtimal, are we talking about, in this verse, are we talking about a quality of the day? Something which is Yom al Qiyamah, and is this a quality of a day, or is it that's the same equivalent replacement? One word is replacing the other word. Ishtimal is like, is a equal replacement, right? This one is equivalent replacement, so this is only going to be labeled as kul, because yom is replacing another yom. Qiyamah is the establishment of the day, and then with everyone is going to be standing and the day will be established, and then yunfakhu fi sur is also the same thing. You are the whatever is coming after yoma may be specifying something, maybe mentioning something about the day, but as your mudaf that is replacing, that is a replacement for the first mubdal minhu, is the same. There is an equivalent, both are the same things, both are talking about the same thing. It is not like, I like, it's not the same as I say I like Arabic, it's grammar. So when I say, Arabic has a tajweed in it, right? Arabic has a lot, in Arabic, how you write Arabic is one science, is one branch of Arabic. Or, if you are talking about Quranic Arabic, there is a tafsir of that. But if I say I like Quranic Arabic, it's grammar. Did I specify one thing, one quality from Arabic? Did I pick one thing from grammar? Right? One specific thing? Yes. So that one will be badale ishtimal. But if I, this one is not like, you're not mentioning or picking up a specific quality, right? So remember, this is equal. This will be kul, and we have labeled it as kul in our last session as well. Okay. So then comes, um, so I hope by now everyone is clear how you have is, iza, lamma, kullama, haisu in one bucket, in the bucket of mabni, zarf, or mudaf, and hina and yoma in another bucket, where you can see both mufridism as mudaf ilayhi, and you can have a jumla. But for the words that I have mentioned before, that are mabni, they will have jumla coming up as their mudaf ilayhi. You will see a whole sentence as their mudaf ilayhi. So then we went over something called tamyiz, something, a word that clarifies. And most of you were, I think forgot about tamyiz, which we have covered in session number 119 when we were learning our ism tafdeel. That sometimes there are words that are going to be there that are going to clarify something. When I say sa'a, how terrible it is for them on day of judgment, how terrible it is, how bad it is the, are you getting the whole concept? Is everything clear? Just understand it as like that, and give me, the right answers. Give me the honest answers here, right? You need something. What is bad? There is a pronoun in sa'a which was damir mustatir huwa, and I need to know more about this huwa. What is this huwa about? So then, when I saw this himlan as a load, how terrible it is as a load, this himla clarified the damir mustatir hua. So therefore, I called it tamyiz. And if you go back to your previous sessions, I'm not talking to you any French. We have covered it when we were learning our, tamyiz was ism tafdeel. But sometimes we all tend to conveniently forget about things. So it's about time, just you remember a few things that, tamyiz can be seen in other cases as well. You can see it not just with ism tafdeel, you can see it with af'al as well. And it is basically the clarifier. It clarifies the ambiguity, okay? If there's something is confusing or, something is not clear, if ambiguous is a word that is very hard for you, कोई भी ऐसी चीज, कोई भी ऐसा फेल या फाइल जो कि क्लियर नहीं होता, जिसमें you cannot, there is something that is left unanswered and you still don't know what this word is talking about, and a word that is there in nasb status and is common is can be considered as a tamyiz. When you go through your jumla failure or jumla ismiya, especially in jumla ismiya, when you have tamyiz, it is very easy to pick. It is very easy to pick. But when it is in jumla failure, because you have maf'ul, and you can see hal as well. So just see, is this himla answering your how question? Is this himla answering your what question? Did it? Or when question? Did it? Did it answer your when and where question? Or did it answer your why question? It did not. It did not. So how terrible it is, the it is there, it did not answer your, can it be maful bihi? If you're saying that this is answering your what question, the ma question, just like a maful bihi. So how terrible it is, himla, there is no connection that you can make. Can it be maful bihi? It cannot be maful bihi, right? You cannot make it maful bihi. It is not that what, it is not that who that you are expecting, what you are expecting to see in maful bihi. This is not that one, okay? This is just a clarification of a pronoun that is sitting inside your sa'a, and how terrible it is as a load, as a load. So as a load is just your, clarifying that very pronoun. Therefore, it is going to be just labeled as tamyiz, and you are going to, most of the time, you see it in nasb status. So if I show you this one verse, let me show you something from here. Okay. If Yusuf alayhi salam would have spoken to his dad and would have just said, Ya abati inni raitu ahada ashara. Ahada ashara. I, oh my dear father, indeed I saw 11. Do you get the whole idea with just 11? If this verse was up until ahada ashara, no, you need more information, right? He saw ahada ashara, but when this kawkaban, 11 stars, is making, the complete sense, giving you the intended, what the speaker wants to say, and it clarifies what this ahada ashara is about, right? So this word, which is nasb in status and is clarifying ahada ashara, is going to be labeled as tamyiz, right? This is going to be tamyiz. There are two yas, not tamiz. Tamiz and tamyiz are different, okay? There are two yas. So remember that, okay? Similarly, if there was this part of the verse, and I'm just, because most of the time you are going to see it with numbers, and that will make complete sense to, it will make it easy for you to understand. فَانْفَجَرَتْ مِنْ husnata ish ashrata. Then 12 gushed open from it. Is it making complete sense? Is everything clear to you? What is that, those 12? But when I say 12 springs, when there is something there that is madud, that is mentioned with it, do you get a clarity of what were those 12 that gushed open from a stone that was hit by Musa alayhi salam that very day when his people asked him for water? So this aynan is going to be labeled as the tamyiz for, this 12. What are those 12? Springs. Otherwise, if the verse would have ended at Ithnata Ashrata, 12 gushed open from it, this there is no clarity. What are those 12, right? You need more information, right? So similarly, and I'm just trying to make it easy, so that there is no if there can be harder examples too, but when you have to understand something from the very beginning, and where you have almost forgotten it, I think the easier examples are going to work better. Misqala zarra, weight of an atom, weight of an atom. So, or weight of a zarra, just whatever, however you want to translate it as. Is this weight of a particle? Yeah, it makes more sense. Yeah, and Arabs used to call ant as zarra too. So the ancient Arabs. So we will not get into that. But yeah, so weight of a particle. So what particle? When you have whoever he does weight of a particle in terms of good, when khayran came, did it not give you clarity that this weight is weight of a goodness, right? So khayran can be tamyiz for whatever is mentioned, which is misqal. Okay. Similarly, the same thing you're going to see here, where you are seeing zaratin sharrin yara. So misqala. This is also misqala zaratin. Whatever. What happened to here? Okay. Let's see. Let me make it big too. Misqala zaratin sharrin yara. So misqala zarra, unclear. I need more information, more information. And Shar came and it clarified for me what is there that, and this is, a possible tamyiz for misqal in both cases. Okay. So this is how I want, this is how this work. And then there are specific words that you are going to see. There are certain kalimat that you are going to see tamyiz with. I have put in your slides those special words that you are expected to see tamyiz with. They can be mala'a, zada, izdada, kafa, sa'a, hasuna, bi'sa, ni'ma, ahata. You may see tamyiz after these words, and there may be there are more words as well, in more kalimat that you can see tamyiz with. But I just have given you these these 9 just to start with. Okay, just you can start with them, and then you can build on that. What are the more words that you can see tamyiz with. For example, now if I give you this word, yes, come also takes, yes, very commonly it takes. Yeah, come is very commonly, but this is come is going to be not the fail, it is going to be under the category of an ism. So yes, come also takes the tamyiz, and very interesting tamyiz comes with yeah, come. So here, kafa billahi waliya, kafa billahi nasira. Allah is sufficient. Allah is sufficient. Waliya. What is this? You know, how is this sufficient? How can sometimes as a friend you can also sometimes there can be both ways. He's kafa can also take that, and you must take that, keep that in mind. Then hasuna, let me give you more examples of hasuna. That is very, there is, I think, probably one that you may see. So 1 second, just Hasuna ulaika rafiqa. So this, what are we seeing? Rafiqa is going to be how good are those people as companions. So hasuna, how good? In what sense are they good? They are good as friends. Okay, so they are good as friends. So rafiqa is going to be tamyiz for this word. Hasunat murtafiqa. How good it is as a place to rest, and right, as a resting place. So murtafika is going to be tamyiz. Hasunat mustaqarran wa muqama. So again, mustaqarran wa muqama can be labeled as tamyiz for hasunat. Okay, so this is what we have covered in our last session, and I just want to make sure that everyone has some idea that when you are going to look at any jumla failure, when you cannot label anything as which is nasbin status, mostly nasbin status, not always, and you do not have any i'rab left for that. You cannot label it as mafa'ilul khamsa, or you cannot label it as your hal. The next thing that you need to think about is your tamyiz. Okay, so again, we have covered is yaqulu amsaluhum tariqah. Is, you can see here again what we were starting our discussion with, that how this is non-flexible. It's mabni ala sakun if there is a jumla after it as its mudaf ilayhi. Then in our last session we have covered up until verse number 108, and just real quick, la tara fiha iwaja wala amta can be the jumla halia, you all, if you all remember. And then this vow we may have called it atf, but can be considered as hal as well, of those who are calling the da'i, and that when they will be calling the da'i, in which there is no deviation, their voices will be lowered for the Rahman, and you will not listen except for hums, a whisper of the footsteps. And now let's start with Yoma Izin, and then I'm going to take you to a classification, inshallah. For the in the last 15 minutes, we are going to see how we can classify our af'al in different ways. Okay, inshallah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Let's start with verse number 109. Yawmaizin la tanfa'u shafa'a. Yawmaizin is going to be, oh, we did not? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so did we start it, or khasha'at, did we mm, did we start it le Rahman? So this one is complete. But okay, only half. Okay, so this one has to be done. So la fala tasma'u, you can call this fa as something that is either connecting or can be istina, because they first we were talking about people who are following a dai in which there is no deviation, and their voices are lowered for Rahman. And now there is iltifat that you are seeing, la tasma'u. Now this is, you are who is being addressed. You will not hear except the footsteps. La nafia, and tasma'u mudari marfu with dammatu zahira, and then comes your illa that you are going to label as harf istasna. If you have jumla failure with damir mustatir anta, do you expect to see any anything other than there is just a word that is nasbin status, and there should be no confusion about it. What are you going to label hamsa as? Maful bihi, right? Everything is clear. So you have la nafia ghair amila as there is no change in mudari after it. If this la was making mudari majzoom, what will be the name of the la? Nahiya. La is going to be called la nahiya. With fi'l mudari, we either see la nafiya or we see la nahiya, right? These are the two la's that we mainly see with fi'l mudari, okay? Either, and when you see la nahiya, everything is clear. La nahiya is going to make a change. It's going to make your mudari majzoom. In that case, the haraka of ain will be, what will be on top of ain? If the la was la nahiya, don't listen. There will be a sukoon there, right? So that is very easy. You're simple, when you have mudare before and there is a la before, things are easy. Okay? And remember, you have been taught this la nafiya that negates your fail mudare can have a meaning of past, present, and future. It can encompass all times. If there was if there was lan before it, what will happen to tasmau? It will be just for future. It will be restricted to future. What else? And there will be a mudare that is going to be nasb in status. Barakallahu fiki, and it is going to be nasb bil fatatu zahira. Very well done. I love these answers. What is another function of lan that is different from la? How is lan different from la? It not only pushes mudare into future, but it does one more thing. In Urdu, you see hargiz nahi. So think about that. And this has been, taught to you when you were doing your negation of jumla filia fil mudare, that lan is for the purpose of it has a benefit of tawkid as well. Okay, will you all remember this, that it has a function of um, tawkid as well. You will never hear, right? You will never. Why I'm saying never? If there was lan tasma'a illa hamsa, you will never hear except footstep. Okay, that is how it's going to be translated. So remember, again, you can have mudare. If you are just, conveying a present tense meaning, it's going to be la. It can be ma before mudare, right? Can ma also negate mudare? Can in also negate mudare? Right? All these words can negate mudare, right? And they have different connotations, right? In and ma, according to Arabs, are the same thing. When it is lan before fail mudare, the meaning is pushed into future. Then you are changing the tense into future. And also lan has emphasis according to most of the grammar scholars. Okay, and in your Arab books, it is harf tufidu litokid. Like it's a strong negation. Okay, it has a benefit of tokid in it as well. Okay, so now comes your next verse number 109. And Afsha, I'm very proud of you that you told me that we have not completely done it. And it tells me that you pay attention in class. You are giving your best. Alhamdulillah. So now, Yawma izin is your zarf, zaman. There are two words, right? We have gone into detail of it before. Izin is munawwan. Remember, among the different types of is, al-ismiya, among I think the 6 types that you have been learning of is al-ismiya. This is one of the time when is munawwan, and this is because it lost its mudaf ilayhi, right? Because it does not have its mudaf ilayhi, and that is why is munawwan. So there is an idafa between these two words. Yawma izin, there is an idafa. Yawma is mudaf, is mudaf ilayhi, but is by itself is missing its mudafun ilayhi. There is no mudaf ilayhi in for is in this case. Okay. La tanfa'u, la harf nafi, la nafiya, ghayr amila, as I'm seeing, mudari marfu bidamatu zahira. And here, what is every fail has a pronoun in it. When it is malum, that fail, the pronoun is file. And there are certain af'al that can have an outside doer as well. So in huwa and hiya, you expect to see an outside doer. Here, this one, tanfa'u, can be anta or hiya. But when you are seeing a ism that is reference status, now pick one. Now pick one. It is here now, right? Barakallahu fiki. Tanfa'u fi'l mudari marfu bid-dammatu zahira. Ash-shafa'atu fa'il marfu bid-dammatu zahira. Right? Now you have your fi'l. You have determined the status of your fi'l, and this fi'l is mu'arrab or mabni. Tanfa'u mu'arrab or mabni. For mabni, you can say MB, and mu'arrab, when I asked you, you can say MA, okay? If that helps. So this one is mu'arrab because the ending can undergo the change. What about khashi'at? What about khashi'at? It is mu'arrab or mabni? It is mabni. Then why, instead of sukoon, the word is with a kasra? Why is this kasra there? Does it have a grammatical reasoning for it, or does it have a tajweed reasoning behind it? It is there for iltaqai sakinain. It is there for iltaqai sakinain. Barakallahu feek. Two sakins cannot be together. First sakin has to have a haraka, and that is why this is kasratul arida. So this is not a true haraka of the word. Okay, this hashiat is hashiat. We are just giving it a kasra just for iltaqai sakinain. Barakallahu fiki. So this fail is mabni because fail madin, the whole fail madin is mabni. That is how we have learned it in this program. Illa harf istasna. Then after illa there is of ism that is coming. You already have your doer. Now what are you looking for? In a jumla failure, there is fail, file, and then there is maful. And this man, what type of man is this man? And this is Mausula. Very well done. I am seeing an answer. And Mausul is always going to be followed by Silatul Mausul. Right and wrong. Is this correct or incorrect? Always will have a Silatul Mausul. And there is a Silatul Mausul, which is Jumla Fi'liya Azina lahu Rahman. So Azina, Fi'l Madin, and this is Mabni al Fatah, right? Always with Fatah, right? Either it is visible or it sometimes can be Muqaddar, right? So Lahu, Jar wal Majroor, Muta'alliq bil Fail, and Ar-Rahman is going to be an outside doer for Azina, right? So Azina was Huwa Azina, so we can see a doer after it, and we do see a doer which is Ar-Rahman, right? And then comes, let's see, this is my Silatul Mawsul, and the status of my Silatul Mawsul is always, what is the status of Silatul Mawsul? La mahalla laha min al-i'rab. It will have no i'rab. It cannot be rafana subject. But what is status of man? You called it maful bihi, and every maful bihi should be the detail in every jumla failure is going to be nasb and status. Barakallahu fiki. Now, this sentence is Silatul Mawsul, la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, and this is waw atifa, right? Waw atifa wa radiya. Radiya is fail madin, right? This is again jumla failure. Fail madin, lahu, jar wal majroor, muta'alliq bil fail, qawlan is going to be mafulun bihi. Everyone agrees with that? Now, if I ask you, what is the status of this sentence? Radiya lahu qawlan. What is the status? Give me the status. La mahalla laha min al-i'rab is the status. And why is that status? I think this is Afsha. Let me check. Afsha has said, Barakallahu fiki, Afsha. Afsha is saying that this is going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab because of atf. You all agree with her? How beautifully she has understood now that yes, it's going to be, la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. But why so? Because of atf. If you give me that reason, you have mastered the concept. Okay, alhamdulillah. There are reasons for sentences to be la mahalla laha. First reason was, if there is a silatul mawsul, it is going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Second reason could be, among the 10 different reasons, I think I gave you almost 10, for a sentence to be la mahalla laha, there are two sentences here. One is because of silatul mawsul, and the other was matuf on that. And if your matuf alayhi is la mahalla, you have to be la mahalla as well. Okay? Now let's see and look at and master your next verse, which is verse number 110. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim. He knows what is before them, wa ma khalfahum, and what is after them. Ya'lamu Fail mudare wal fa'il huwa. Ma is going to be, ma is harf or an ism here? Is it a harf or an ism? Start from the very, ma has no an, so it is it can be ismiya or harfiya. This, let's just don't go there. Let's see first of all the sentence, understand the sentence, and then see if you want to call it and give it a different name, or however you want to call it. Okay. يعلم ما بين أيديهم. He knows what is before them and what is behind them. Ma is going to be ismiya. If it is ismiya, among the 5 6 different types of ismiya, is it, what type of ismiya is this one? There can be istifhamiya, ibhamiya, mawsula. There can be ma that can be, you know, there can be ama that can be, what is yeah, ibhamia. Then there's you know, now I'm you know, why I'm blocking, my mind is blocked for some reason. Let me just, you know, quickly, you know, see what can be the ma in this case. If it is ma al ismiya, tajubiya, ma shartiya, very commonly we see, and ma al istifhamiya, ma al waqiya, right? So the different types of ma that we can see here, we have mal mausula. And now if it is mausula that you are telling me, Dilruba, is it going to connect what is after it to what is before it? Yeah, it is going to do this job, right? So ma is going to be connected to yalamu as its mafulun bihi, right? If it is mausula, barakallahu fiki. And after every mausul, look for sila. What are the three different types of sila I have taught you? Bless you too. So there are three types of, you know, silatul mausul that you can see. You can see sila as your shubu jumla. You can see your sila can be jumla ismiya. Your sila can be jumla fi'liya. Okay, remember that. Your sila tul mausul can be shubu jumla, which can be jar wal majrur or zarf. Jar wal majrur or zarf if it is a shubu jumla. Number two, it can be jumla ismiya. Number three, it can be jumla fi'liya. Before we have seen a silatul mausul, that was jumla fi'liya. Now we are seeing silatul mausul that Rashida is saying is shubu jumla, and I absolutely agree. And it is mutalik bi mahzuf sila. Okay, you can just call it mutalik bil mahzuf sila. Okay. Similarly, waw is harf atf. Ma is going to be matuf. Khalfahum is again khalfa. Um, if something is fawqa, tahta, baina, zarf, shubu jumla, idafa, and this is going to be silatul mausul here, right? And you can call it mutalik bi mahzuf sila. Okay, every shubu can be mutalik bi mahzuf something. Now comes wala yuhituna bihi ilma. Wow, if you want to, okay, you want to call it hal of id him, the hal of him. Okay, okay, you Diba is saying that this can be waw istinafia. Okay, okay, we'll come to that. How about let's just finish it off and then we'll come to the whole verse altogether. Okay, la nafia yuhituna mudare marfu بثبوت النون, right? والفاعل ضمير متصل واو الجماعة به جار والمجرور متعلق بالفعل. They do not encompass it in terms of knowledge. This is going to be the tamyiz again, because how is not going to be the answer for this? You know, this is clarifying that they cannot encompass it in terms of knowledge. When you have something that can be translated as in terms of, think about tamyiz. Is it common? Is it nasb? Yes, it is common and nasb. Remember, tamyiz is not always going to be common and nasb. Sometimes it can have harf jar before it. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. But for now, just understand it is common and nasb. Everyone got it? That this word is going to be labeled as tamyiz for this sentence. Okay, yuhituna. Now comes, some of my sisters are saying that this ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum can be jumlatu isti'nafiya. He knows what is before them and what is behind them. Um, okay, right? So that it is beginning something new. It is, starting a new topic. It's just taking it away from, whatever was, mentioned before. Now we are thinking about something new. We are focusing on some new point. Can I can I can I call it jumla to taliliya? Can it be considered as taliliya as well? Because the shafaat is not going to help, not going to benefit anyone except whom Rahman has given permission to, and he is pleased with his word and he has accepted his word because he knows what is before them and what is after them. Can I add because here in this translation to for my understanding? Can I? Can I call that this jumla can be jumla to ta'liliya? I'm not this. Okay, if it is jumla to istinafiya, what will be the status of jumla? That it is beginning a new topic, and there is no harm in calling it istinaf. That this is, focusing on something else. Yes, la muhalla laha min al i'rab. If I'm calling it jumla that gives a reason, that is jumla to ta'liliya, what will be the status then? Jumla to ta'liliya is always no, 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 no. Same thing. La mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Always remember. Your jumla tu ta'liliya, like la'allakum sentences, the sentences beginning mostly with inna are going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Barakallahu fiki Rabiha Dilruba. Okay, same thing. Both cases. So now in this session, how many sentences have we gone over that are la mahalla laha min al-i'rab? Jumlatul atifa, if there is matuf alayhi sentence, that is la mahalla jumla, matuf jumla is going to be la mahalla. Silatul mawsul, la mahalla. Jumlatul ta'liliya, la mahalla. Jumlatul istinafiya, la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Yes, jumlatul tafsiriya is always la mahalla laha, but we in this session we are not seeing that. So yeah, so but it is also going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Everyone with me so far? I hope things are making sense so far. So now let's come to, and then this vow, this vow, yeah, so here is for, you're asking me, is this Talilia? Is that the question, Dilruba? My dear, you can consider it istinaf and you can consider it talil. Both, are going to be the correct explanation. However, both ways you should be able to make your audience understand it. Okay, if you're calling it talil, then make sure your audience know or your students know why are you calling it talil, because he knows he is not going to give permission anyone to speak or anyone to benefit from the shafa'a, from the intercession, because he knows what is before them and what is behind them. He is a knower of unseen, right? And he is, three. Sorry, three. What is three? I don't understand. You can unmute yourself, Durva. You want to unmute yourself and tell me? Because I may have, said things in certain numbers, but I forgot about them. Do you want to unmute? Okay, I think you're shy or something. No, yeah, you can. Okay, that's okay. So yeah, so you in enough you can just say that this is just switching, you know a topic from one place to another. That is why this can be considered as stay enough. Okay, so yeah. So what was the next thing we were about to do? Were we about to finish this? We have finished it, and this vow. Okay, this vow. So Aisha is saying that she wants to label it as vow halia. So how many of you agree with that? How many of you want to, label it as Wauhalia? Only Aisha wants to do it as Wauhalia? Why? How will you? Okay, so let me ask it this way. Would you? Okay, it could be. Okay, okay, it could be. But let me just, there is one thing I would like to show you. Um, Short series. In my short series, I have this, and you have covered, Alhamdulillah, that. What is that? Okay, let's see here. I have to go back here. I'm going to show you something. Uh, Short. Oh, this one. Alhamdulillah. Usually, uh, yeah, let me see. Yeah, Deepa, good one, and we are getting there, my dear. Let me tell you one thing. You know, when there is mudare, if it is, it is not just mudare. See, there is a la as well. Okay, there is la as well. How you will learn it as is that you have these slides, my dear sisters, just to let you know, make sure you go over this. Okay, so my dear sisters, when la is beginning, let's start with la first. Okay, because your sentence was starting with la yufituna. Okay, before wow, right after wow there was a la. Okay, we are not going to go to mudare, let's just talk about la first. Okay, so when you are seeing la as at the beginning of your jumla halia, you will know wow is needed. You will learn it as it, you will not need any wow before it. Okay. So is this making any sense? Yeah. So you don't need any wow to be there. You just, he brings you all out from the batoon of your mother, from the bellies of your mother, in a state that you don't know anything. Where is this state coming from? Because I am treating la ta'lamuna shay'a as jumlatul haliya. But do I see wow before my la? This is how, my dear sisters, I want you all to remember that there are certain words that are, that there are certain particles that will need wow, like ma. If ma is beginning your jumla halia, ma of negation is starting your jumla halia, you will see wow before it. But when la is starting your jumla halia, no wow is needed. Okay. Having said so, if somebody has, treated it as wow halia, I am not going to, fight with that person. I'm not going to, be going to, say this is no, this is totally incorrect. But I will definitely, try to make them understand my point that, you know wow is needed when la is beginning jumlatul haliya. Okay. And anyways, that is another topic for mudare. Do you need wow haliya before it? When your mudare is your jumlatul hal, do you need wow? No, you don't need wow at all. Not at all. Not at all. You usually, you are going to, just, see, so what is sufficing? What is sufficing as, here when you have mudare as your hal? What suffices? What is sufficient and is there that, you know, makes a connection between sahibul hal and hal? What is there in yatakhafatuna and nakhshurul mujrimina? What is there that is enough to make a connection between sahibul hal and hal? In this case, your pronoun by itself is enough, right? You must all know that wow is there, and this is describing the hal of al mujrimin, right? And mujrimin, the pronoun that goes back to mujrimin is wawil jama'a, because al mujrimina is al jama muzakkar salim, right? Everyone knows that. So yeah, so for that you don't need, for la, no wow halia needed, and so you can either call it at or you can call it istina. Okay, everyone with me? Now look at what is happening. The camera is little, on the faces of those, on our faces. Everyone's face is now in the, is being zoomed in. Okay, anatil wujuhu. عنت الوجوه للحي القيوم. عنت is فعل ماضي والفاعل الوجوه, right? File is الوجوه. عنت is, ta is for tanis. Ta is for tanis. And why is ta tanis used here? because al-wujuhu is my broken plural, right? And it is treated as feminine, right? Lil hayy, lil hayy, al-qayyum, jar wal majroor, al-hayy, al-qayyum. How you can connect them? Is there any way you can connect? Um, Lil Hay is mutalik bil fail, but Hay al Qayyum. More than most, these are the names of Allah. So when you see the names of Allah, um, you can call them badal for each other, because the one who is ever living, the one who is always who's sustainer and sustains and who's keeping everything upright. You can just, these are two sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they can be badal, considered as badal for each other, okay? Right? And that makes, like, more sense as well. So, right? Yes, you can. Yes, absolutely, it's going to be badlikul, right? Yeah. وقد خاب من حمل ظلما. Now think about this wow and now connect. وقد واو حالية، قد حرف تحقيق والتوكيد، خاب جملة فعلية فعل ماض، والضمير مستتر هو which has been cancelled by what? This man. What is the type of man? Man mausula. There are three types of man that we have covered in our course: man istifhamia, man mausula, man chartiya. So this is connecting whatever is before to whatever is after. Therefore, we call it man mausula, and the status of man mausula in this case is going to be, my sisters are going to tell me it is raf because it's an outside doer for khaba. It is a file for fail khaba. It cancelled the mir mustatir hua. And after man mausula, I must look for silatul mausul, which is la mahalla laha min al i'rab and jumla failiya hamala, hamala fail madin mabni al fatha wal file damir mustatir hua. Zulma is going to be, what is he carrying? He's carrying zulm, so it can be mafulu bihi for hamala. Any questions so far? Are we going? Are we understanding everything? Okay. So let's just quickly finish this page, or I think, what should I do? If I finish this page, I will not be able to teach you what I was supposed to teach you today. Who carried who carried who carried zulm is, what did he carried? He carried zulm, didn't maful bihi, what did he carry? He carried injustice upon himself, though it is, more in a tangible and, kind of a sense, but um it makes more sense to, call it as what is it called, um, as maful bihi more so. What do you all say? Does anyone else also think that it should be tamyiz for hamala? Because it is carrying, what did he carry? He carried zulm upon himself, and that's why he got destroyed, right? So this is not, hamala is clear. He carried, what did he carry? Zulma. He carried zulm upon himself, injustice upon himself. It is going to be maful bihi, right? Okay. So now, do you want to finish this page today, or do you want to learn something which you have already learned, but you are just going to go over how you can go about things? What do you think? Should we continue with the verses, or do you want to, come back to these verses and in our next session on Wednesday, and then we can, inshallah ta'ala, finish. Okay, there is nothing brand new for you. It's basically that what you have covered in all your previous sessions. I just want you to know, when you look at your field, you can consider it as something that is telling you an information about an event, or just an it can be, your fail can be just an information of a fact, a statement of a fact. And sometimes your fail can be something that is not a statement of a fact, that can be um, regarded as true or false. Remember, we have done that in the very beginning of Surah Taha. Kalam khabariya, kalam anshaiya. If you are getting information, you can divide your fail into two main types based on the tense of the fail. Your fail can be fail madin and fail mudari. If I say nasara, he helped. Yansuru, he helps. Is it giving you information, or is it, making you think more about anything? Or, it's just simple plain informative statements. There are two informative statements that are going to fall under the category of kalam khabariya, and you are subdividing it into two types based on zaman. And zaman, everyone knows what is zaman. What is zaman? Zarf zaman, zarf makan, or something. We have time. Zaman is time. Okay, zaman is time. It's about time. So just, you have to consider here it as tense. So it can be past tense, or it can be fail mudare, which encompasses your past, your sorry, which encompasses your present and future as well. Okay, so and this is going to be just your kalam qabriya, is going to just give you an information. Then your fail can be kalam inshaiya, right? Where it can be talbiya, and it can be ghair talbi. Kalam inshaiya ghair talbi as well. When is it talbi? When I asked you unsur, help, is it talbiya? Am I asking you to do something? Yes. And this is going to be including your fi'lul amr. If I tell you falyasum, falyasum, then falyasumhu. When Allah says falyasumhu, should it be in the same category? That now my fail, which is makrun bil lamul amr, is now talking about, some talb. There is a talb in it. You are demanding something. So I just did not put it there. But other than failul amr, if your mudare is makrun bil lamul amr, if your mudare has lamul amr attached to it, it is going to be talbiya as well. Then if I say la la tansur, la tansur, what is that? Am I demanding something? Is there a talb there? Yes, it is again going to be kalam in shaiya, and there will be fail nahi there. Okay, so this is going to be under the category of kalam talbiya, which is failun nahi. Your forbidding is also included in this case. When it is about ghair talbi, when you are not demanding anything from anyone, then you think about qasam wal asr. Am I demanding anything? Or Allah, when He takes an oath by the time of asr, He's not. Or when He takes an oath by qiyamah, there is no, there is insha. You cannot say true, this statement is true. You cannot say you are lying, you are saying the truth. No, these are not the statements of facts, but you are not demanding anything from anyone either, right? So this type of fail, which is uqsimu, makes more sense. La uqsimu bihazal balad. When Allah takes an oath with the with the city, of Makkah, uqsimu, fail uqsimu. Is it talbi or ghair talbi? It is ghair talbi. You are not saying anything there. It is there is no demands from there. When somebody says, how beautiful, how terrible, is there any demand? There is ta'ajjub, but there is no demand. So your ta'ajjub, sa'a, when you have this verse, when we were doing this one, sa'a lahum yawm al-qiyamah himla. This fail, there is no demand. Is there ta'ajjub there? How bad it is for them on the day of judgment as a load. So this fail is going to be under the category of the ta'ajjub. Okay? When somebody is wondering or amazed by something, these statements cannot be regarded as true or false statement, or correct or incorrect statements. When a statement cannot be correct or incorrect or true or false, that statement is going to be kalam in shaya. If there is a demand, that is going to be under the category of forbidding and commanding. If there is no demand, then you need to think about failure to ajub and qasam. So this was about how you can divide your fail based on what type of information you are getting from your fail. Then comes your fail in terms of mabni and mu'arrab can be of two types. Did we go over that in our previous sessions? Yes, we have covered it. We have learned fail madin, always mabni, failul amr, always mabni. Yes, you all have learned it in your previous sessions. When you look at fail mudari, when it has nunun niswa, Yansurna, tansurna. Is it mu'arrab? If I put an before it, if I put la before it, if I put lan before it, is there any change to tansurna and yansurna? There is no change. When it has nunu niswa, there is no change. It is again mabni. When it has nunu tawkid al sakila or nunu tawkid al hafifa, is there any change that can happen to your fail? لا يحسبن الذين كفروا أنما نملي لهم خير لأنفسهم أنفسهم yeah يحسبن. Now my fail, though has la nahya, but no majzoom is seen on jazm. No jazm is there on ba because it became non-flexible because of nunu tokid was attached to it. So those are the cases when your mudare is going to be non-flexible as well. So these two cases, but rest all the other cases, your fail mudare is going to be mu'arrab. Okay. So this is just the beginning of what I have prepared, and I'm already past my time, and I realized it at 1 o'clock. But I just wanted to finish this off. So, but inshallah, we will complete this topic in our next session to come on Wednesday. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, my dear sisters.